Hi everybody. I want to continue our conversation about Black History Month. This is February, Black History Month, and I really want to key in on the word assumption. We make a lot of assumptions about other people, other races, men, women. We categorize people. It's easy for the brain to categorize. What I see in this nation is a big divide, a lot of volatility. Let's just take Republicans and Democrats, for example. People have lost friendships on Facebook over strongly opinionated separate camps. And the same thing is happening in our culture in many situations with race. There seems to be a divide. Now, many of us are very inclusive, but there is a segment of the population that you would think in the year 2018 we would have come a long way. We have come a long way since the 1940s and 50s. However, there's still a long way to go, in my opinion. And so today I want to talk about, we give the word racism so much time. Well, let's go back a little bit and let's talk about stereotypes, prejudice, racism, and discrimination. I think that those four words need to be a part of our mindset and our vocabulary. So I just kind of want to go through those a little bit, and I want to link it back to assumptions. Assumptions of other people, assumptions within our marriage, of our spouse, of people's behaviors, assuming what their attitude is or what they might even be thinking. So, stereotype. What is a stereotype? A stereotype is a belief about a certain group. How many of you were in high school and remember the term dumb jock? Well, when I was going to high school, that was just a taken for granted category. That because someone was an athlete, maybe they were arrogant, they loved themselves, they were good in sports, but they weren't smart. They didn't get good grades. And we say dumb jocks. How many professionals get carried through college on a scholarship and then go to the pros? They're dumb. So that would be a stereotype, belief about a certain group. Prejudice. Prejudice is a feeling about a person based on membership in a group. How often have you met a person and then when you find out they belong to a certain group, you change your mind just because they said they were in a different group, or you change your feeling, or they turn the other way? I've seen this happen in religious situations. A Christian would be talking to someone, and then when they find out they're Catholic, those heathens, whatever. There's just this feeling about a person based on membership in a group. I will admit my prejudice. I have a prejudice. I think we all have prejudices. They can be good or bad. My prejudice is, and I've never met anyone specifically in the group, but if I were to meet somebody who was a member of the KKK, I don't even know what they call themselves. That's how removed I am. Aryan Nation, white supremacist. If I were to meet somebody, I think my feeling would be one of freezing up. I couldn't believe it, incredulity, and I'd probably have a little anger, and I probably wouldn't really want to really get to know that person or talk to that person because I have a feeling that this person is harsh, uneducated, and just kind of wacky. So I have a prejudice and a feeling that rise up in me when I think about a membership in a group. And so I will admit that. Racism. Racism is a belief in the superiority of one race or ethnicity. Let's not forget ethnicity. It's not just the color of your skin. It could be from the place you are from a different country. Let's say from Norway. Maybe you have some racial opinion against Norwegian. And racism is what we like to throw around at people. You're racist. Well, please try to think, are you stereotyping or are you prejudiced? I don't really hear the word prejudice too often, but I do hear racist. Oh, you're a racist. Well, maybe you're prejudiced. And the last level is discrimination. So we have stereotype, prejudice, racism. Racism would be the belief. Discrimination would be the action taken on or against someone. And discrimination happens subtly in the workplace. I was in human resources management, and we learn that you really try hard not to discriminate. But I have to tell you, I believe that there's discrimination going on against, let's say, women over 50, 55, or 60 re-entering the workplace. It could be thought that, oh, that person's a little older, gray hair, they're not as savvy with technology and the computer, millennials are on the ball, and older people are a little bit slower thinking. And so when you have two candidates, you might go for that millennial and not the older person. The older person might be asking for a higher salary. And so that's kind of discrimination, deciding and shutting off a job, taking an action based on a certain group. So those are just some examples. Now, where does all of this come from? This comes from assumptions, beliefs, and feelings. And I would like to share with you a book that has changed my life about a year ago. And here we go. People could be, and the book title is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I believe it's a popular culture book that has gotten a lot of attention. The author has been on the Oprah show. And so the discrimination I find with this book is that there will be many Christians who won't like it because it starts off seeming new agey, a spirituality different from a Christian spirituality. But I don't care on the criticisms that I may or may not get. I am Christian, but I'm also have a lot of new age / metaphysical beliefs. I believe there's so much information we can gain from so many different resources. And the 4 agreements are as follows. Okay, be impeccable with your word. Okay, right? Keeping your word. How important is that? Hey, you want to do lunch today? Or hey, I'll meet you, I'll call you, I'll text you, and you never hear from the person. Sometimes you have to wonder that maybe a person shouldn't speak words if they're not going to follow through. That's very hard to do. Be impeccable with your word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. That can be challenging. 3, don't make assumptions. And 4, always do your best. So did you hear number 3 in there? Don't make assumptions. And that is really hard to do. That's really hard to not make assumptions, to not categorize. We think in patterns. We think in categories, right? So I just wanted to bring these things up today. It's Black History Month. I hope that you're celebrating. I hope that you're educating yourself, getting involved with something. But making assumptions is really important. Important not to make assumptions in your marriage. When a communication is trying to go, wow, when you make assumptions, when you're communicating, that's where you will have a disconnect based on assumptions. So I hope that you feel inspired. I hope that you feel energized that it's Black History Month. Next month is Women's History Month. And just always be your best, always do your best, and make your marriage great.